So I'm gonna let this clip play through, and kind of starts off a little broken ozone sequence here. Now they end up in line rush against, and then end up giving a chance from kind of inside the dot there. All right, so first we come into this puck, Scheifele, right? Love watching Scheifele play. He's getting a scan to the middle. It's a tough puck right on the yellow on his backhand, right? You can see right away we've got Kyle Connor working off the wall, trying to find some space in the middle of the ice, and they've got a weak side option here for a quick little bump behind the net, side change, and try to set up the ozone, right? So Scheifele ends up trying to make a little move here, 1-on-2 against Sergachev and Cooley. Right now, play ends up getting stalled out. Utah ends up getting possession, right? So I think in an ideal world, if Scheifele was able to get a potential earlier scan and be able to find Connor in some of this soft ice in here, right, that would obviously be an unbelievable look and a really difficult play to execute, right? Might not even be there given the sticks and skates defensively and even the skates of the Rev here, right? But at the very least, we want to try and get this puck from an outnumbered situation in one quadrant of the ice, being able to potentially change sides behind the net. Maybe it's a hard rim to your weak side D, or being able to stall this puck and then maybe a strong side rim up to your strong side D, right? But we want to get the puck out of this area. Okay, but now because Connor's coming from a good spot in the middle of the rink, he's able to come across and put some pressure on this puck. And their D are actually coming off the bench here, right? But want to really focus in on this route by Dylan DeMello as the weak side D, right? So we've talked a lot recently about D gapping in the ozone, and we actually started a lot of this discussion with a clip from Utah doing a really good job with their weak side D gapping in the ozone. Okay, so obviously Utah's forwards are really low right now, right? All three of them are below the dots, right? But if I'm the weak side D, one, I want to be available high and on the weak side over here. If there's some sort of rim release to me, right, I need to be available. But now as this play turns over, I want to start working down and as tight to that line as possible. Okay, and that line meaning the line of the depth of the Utah forwards. And you can see Morrissey in here, right? He's going to be very early to back out, or really we would like to see him build some gap in as well, right? Because now really Utah is able to build a bunch of speed, and we can already see Morrissey's first move is backwards right now, right? When he's got a ton of space to work with, and he's an unbelievable skater to be able to build 1 or 2 steps down and really just, again, help him out. That might make this pass a little bit more difficult, might make his partner feel a little more confident in gapping down and then holding middle ice, right? And especially, again, if Morrissey's in here right now, now we've got 2D with super tight gap and really nowhere for this puck to go, okay? So we've talked about the weak side D and his read on immediate weak side threats, right? Obviously the puck carrier is the highest Utah player right now, right? And we've got 2 speeds developing on the weak side, right? So if we can be there early enough to kill this play before these 2 players become relevant, we want to continue on this angle, stick, denying plays back and through the middle, and flush this player up the strong side. Okay, so DeMello starts on that route, okay, a little high, right? But if you notice, his stick is denying plays up for some reason, right? When really, these are the plays that we want to deny, right? So our stick being down ice in this situation would be huge, which he gets to here. But now, for some reason, and it's because he feels the speed coming up the weak side, but now he begins to peel off and retract his stick a little bit, right? Especially when you've got a player on his backhand right here on a bobbling puck. To me, this should be a green light to continue through here and make this player really uncomfortable, make him feel like he's just got to chip a puck up into the neutral zone, right to your partner here, and then Winnipeg would obviously transition on offense, right? But again, if we watch the detail, he peels off, retracts his stick, and allows that lane to the weak side of the ice. Okay, so again, small habits here, but stick detail, the angle, the depth at which you're coming in on your angle, everything really matters here. Okay, and then we talked about Morrissey. Again, I think he could be tighter in controlling the middle of the ice instead of just backing up outside the dot lane. But now he's got to make a read, right? If he sees his partner coming over, right, he knows that there's really no other strong side threat. He's now got to start looking to the weak side of the ice. Maybe now he could recognize that there are threats coming across the weak side. And now he should really start what we call folding underneath here. Okay, so now that's going to give his partner confidence to come across and continue on that route and hopefully kill this play, right? But now Morrissey, instead of again backing out, could be down and through. Maybe here right now in the center of the ice. And what that's going to help him do is now have a much tighter gap to Cooley here and now force Cooley outside early. And again, one-on-one, really one-on-two situation is really going to probably kill this play a lot earlier. All right, so instead he's got tough gap, and then Cooley does what great players do, and he attacks right at Morrissey in that weak gap and flattens his feet. Right, so right now you can see Morrissey feels uncomfortable because of that gap, feels Cooley start to attack right at him and then widen back out. That flattens Morrissey's feet, kills his angle, and now Cooley's able to get Morrissey to reach, overextend, then he gets a shot from inside the slot area with a little bit of stick contact, right? Ends up being a kind of a mid-percentage, potentially high percentage play that is hard for Hellebuyck to handle, right? But again, tons of really small details here between that angle and that stick, and the gap by the original strong side D ends up again in a chance against. So